This is Twig, This Week in Kongregate, the show that's starting to change its host like an age-old soap opera. Episode 14, Good Sequel, Bad Sequel. Hello, I'm Mishu.
And I'm Robbie.
And today we're missing Mircea for the episode recording. But we can do without him, and since I've got Robbie here to cover up for him, I think we're going to be great.
Yeah.
Let's kick it off with news and stuff. Kongregate has been promoting a new tool called Stencil, and I've been checking it out. It's a tool meant for easing the development of Flash games. Basically, their motto is making Flash games in a flash.
Yeah, I saw this about a week ago, and I haven't looked too much into it. But programming can get a bit overwhelming for new people who just don't know anything about programming. I mean, ActionScript 3 is really quite complex if you don't know anything, haven't had a programming background. And if you're sort of just an artist with art skills, this is a really good tool to sort of jump into and make a game without sort of looking around, hunting after a programmer.
As we've seen on sites like DeviantArt, there are many great graphic designers out there who have just gorgeous artwork and who would be willing to put that in a game, but wouldn't know how to do that. And some of them start tinkering with ActionScript and just feel overwhelmed and just give up.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, even yourself tried delving into programming a little bit and even have a game posted on Kongregate.
Yeah, I have a very basic game. My game I made was basically just an exercise learning how to code in ActionScript 2, which is probably my first mistake. ActionScript 2 is pretty ineffective, and my game is actually a bit laggy, I think, purely because it's ActionScript 2, or I'm just a bad coder. But I was planning to learn ActionScript 3 as well, but I didn't really get around to it. I really would like to, stop procrastinating one day and actually start making some decent games. So, yeah, but I have a very strong programming background, so I was able to transition to that pretty easily. But I can certainly see people struggling with it. So it's tools like Stencil. I'm not sure if it's going to be totally successful because there's been tools like this in the past. Have you played any Stencil games? I haven't really played many myself, to be honest.
Yeah, they featured a handful of games on the page they've set up on Kongregate, and there was this platformer which oddly had a very, very small screen, but that was just the designer's choice, and was quite interesting. I mean, if I hadn't known it was the Stencil game, I would have said he went ahead and made it with Box 2D and stuff. So
that's pretty interesting. Yeah, if it's got good output, it's certainly an interesting sort of method of making Flash games.
And it's what's really great about it is that when you have the ground laid in front of you, you just think about the game and the game mechanics and how you design the game and make it entertaining instead of trying to develop this platform that you're going to then develop the game on. Well, most of the developers get caught by this platform developing and sometimes really forget that they're supposed to be making a game that's fun and has great game mechanics, not just the platform in which you will be playing. So I hope we see some great games out of this, and maybe they, instead of just calling it up on Kongregate, maybe they should go over to a site like DeviantArt and present it there, because that's where your basic target audience should be.
Yeah.
And with that, we're moving on to badges of the week. Quite a lot of badges. 5 games got badges this week.
Yeah, the first game that got badged this week was Get Off My Lawn, which is was posted on Kongregate quite a long time ago. Of course, since it didn't get badges, I didn't really visit it when it was released. I mean, it was released in 2009, middle of 2009. It sort of reminded me of Amorphous Boss. Sort of, you just follow your mouse around and run over bad monsters or blobs or whatever.
Which game?
Amorphous Plus. You know, that game where you sort of, you got this giant sword and you slash the little blobs of oil and stuff.
Oh, I think I remember it, yeah.
It's got an impossible badge. So it's sort of similar to that game. It's not as hard though, not as challenging. I sort of, finished it within an hour. It was a fun little game. I quite enjoyed it.
Well, I kind of hated the message that it sends with all the killing in front of the lawn. If you really want to protect the lawn that much for its oxygen capabilities, maybe you should plant a forest or something. I mean, the background story is just, I didn't really like it. There were other games similar to this one where you had to protect stuff like Don't Touch My Mushrooms or something. Remember? Oh, Mushroom Madness, that was the name of the game. which had a better background story to justify all the killing. It was a bit better. But that aside, I find it pretty enjoyable for an arcade shooter-like game, because it's basically kind of a shooter. What I didn't like about the game was the curve of earning in difficulty in the campaign mode, in the story mode.
Yeah.
But basically,
some of those items took forever to just save up and get.
Yeah,
I don't even think I got half of them in the end, and I finished the game without half the items.
See, there's a trick to that, because by level 10, when I figured this out, I said, I have to get out of into the menu and check out maybe there's some trick. And there actually was a trick. There was a thing called time attack, where basically everything that you scored there turned into money. By level 13, I was able to make like 5,000 per run. So I grinded using that one. I bought everything there was to buy in the shop, and then I went and finished the normal mode.
I did it the hard way.
Must have been really, really hard.
Yeah, it was. Towards the end, it got pretty insane, but it wasn't too bad. I didn't find it too bad.
Also, another great trick about this game is that you if you can afford it, and basically you should afford it if you use the time attack trick, you should definitely buy the pesticides in every level, because
I didn't touch them at all.
Yeah, they slow them like 50% when they try to get in the screen, and that helps a lot.
Yeah, I just bought sort of the cheapest stuff. I've maxed out all my stats. I went for the max stats first.
Yeah, that's the first thing everybody should do.
Yeah, I sort of went for the other items as an add-on.
Okay, moving on to boss battle. Well, this was a weird game. Only bosses.
This one made me a little angry. This one made me rage a little bit. Did you end up getting the hard badge or?
No, it's crazy. I tried.
The hard badge is quite challenging.
It's one of the hard badges.
Yeah, it was a good challenge. I like having a challenge once in a while because you don't get it too much these days. So these bullet heavy games are always good fun to try and end up beating.
Yeah, it's a great shooter. As in itself, it's a great shooter. But if you're trying to get the hard badge, it's going to be quite frustrating for a while. This is the kind of game where you have to like play it for a while to get in the zone, and when you're in the zone, then you're going to make it through.
You definitely have to get the patterns down, memorized, and just keep on grinding it out, practicing. Yeah, it's one of those games where you just have to keep on doing it over and over until you get it right. I ended up just barely beating it with no lives left, and because at the end you think you've finished it. We should probably explain what it is exactly. There's one boss, and you have to just continually go through stages of this boss, where he does all these different attacks from different sides of the screen, and he'll throw different obstacles at you in different patterns, and it's ruthless. You only have like 3 or 4 lives, I think, and there's like, it must be at least around about 20 stages, I think. But there's a little stage counter where you gradually, as you go through the stages, it'll knock off one by one this little boss icon, and you get down to 0 and you think you're done, and there's like there's extra stage at the end, which almost killed me.
Yeah, because boss icons are like the boss's lives, like you have lives in the game. And
so he runs out of lives, but he comes back for an extra stage, and you're just totally unprepared for it, and I almost died on that bit, and would not have pleased me.
I liked how they mixed up these stages and levels. What was the most frustrating one for you?
I actually found the first 3 or 4 were the ones that killed me the most. I'm not sure why that was. The
one that I hated the most was the third one, where your controls get inverted.
Reversed, yeah, that one was bad for me as well. Yeah. But again, not saying the ones at the end were easy or anything, but the game was very challenging.
Yep, pretty challenging, and a great shooter at that. Are we ready to move on?
Sky Island is a very unique platformer sort of puzzle game. This again was released a little while ago. Not as long ago as Get Off My Lawn, but I don't think it had API when it was released, so it took a while to get that sorted. Essentially, this game, you think it's a platformer to start off with, you sort of just walking around, and then it tells you to, use the mouse to rotate the screen, and as soon as you do that, you see it's a very unique sort of game.
We've already talked about this one on This Week in Kongregate, and it basically, as a nice commenter said, it changes the perspective on platformer games.
Yes, yeah, it certainly does. It would be very interesting to see if they could pull it off on a tablet or something like that. That would be really cool. The puzzles were quite tricky, some of them at the end. the mechanics sort of are a bit strange in the sense that if you rotate it one way compared to another way, you won't get exactly the same result sometimes. So you have to sort of figure out how exactly it all works.
Took me a while to figure it out. I mean, at first I wouldn't know. It seemed like so random. After I rotated, they just end up in another place. What's going on? But then I figured out, and you basically just have to. It couldn't be explained with words. You just have to play it. Then after a while, you get it. It's that way.
Yeah. Very well done game.
Yeah.
Again, it's a little short. I mean, if they could make it, really expand the levels out, and which I'm sure they'll probably do in a sequel of some sort. But yeah, on the whole part, I enjoyed it.
Speaking about sequels, let's talk about Learn to Fly 2. Probably the best sequel so far on Kongregate, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not offending anybody. I really liked this game. I remember when I first got onto Kongregate, Learn to Fly was a big hit then. It was one of the top-rated games. It had one of the hard badges because you had to finish the game in 19 days. I just
that one made me angry as well.
I just hated this freaking penguins.
I'm so glad there wasn't a badge like that in this one. It was really well badged, this one.
Yeah, I got the badges for free the day after they were published because I wanted to try the game in order to present it in the show. And I started playing around 11 o'clock. And I said, well, I'm just going to play for a while before I go to bed. And a while later, I looked at the clock. It was 3 a.m. What just happened? That's how good a game this is.
It's another one of the games where you just have to keep on playing and build your money up and sort of get those big upgrades and from that special shop that makes you fly further and have less dragons, so you can get that hard badge in the end.
Yep, and it all felt so pleasant and had a nice background story. It's just great. Did you see the cutscenes where he posts to Facebook and stuff?
Yeah. I can't help but think it's a little overrated. I'm not sure if it justifies 4.7 out of 5 at one stage I saw it, which is just crazy.
This one was a bit...
It's not a game that will frustrate you and make you downrate it, unless Greg gives it a hard badge, which makes you try and finish it in 19 days.
Yeah. So
the first one, I have a flawed image of the first one just purely because of that badge.
Me too. And when I first saw this game, I was like, oh no, not another one. But then I started playing it. When I started playing it, and I realized it's great. It's fun.
I thought it was pretty enjoyable. And like I said before, Greg has actually badged this one. I mean, the hard badge isn't easy by any means. You certainly need a decent, you need a little bit of strategy to get the points requirements that Greg set. And I think they're pretty good.
All right.